Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Taishi here, back again. New generation of consoles means new generation of videos. I'm back and not better than ever. I'm probably the same. Anyway, so I guess new generation of consoles mean better hardware, right? So it's you're going to be wanting to be looking at upgrading your TV or your monitor, for example, which is what I'll be focusing on here. That is the Samsung G7 32-inch monitor. Yes, I know, completely overkill. It's massive, 1440p on a 32-inch screen. Yay or nay? It looks really nice. I'm upgrading from the monitor next to it, which is 24-inch 1080p. So anything was kind of a good upgrade at this stage. So my main issue was, will I be able to push out the high resolution, the high refresh rate to this monitor? So this monitor here is a 1440p display, 240 hertz maximum on PC side of things. Console wise, we're only looking at 120 here, so you know, it's more than enough. I can grow into it if I need to. My whole concern was, will I be able to get the outputs from the consoles to the monitor through an HDMI switch or switcher, whatever you want to call it, and an Elgato capture software to go along with like my YouTube and Twitch setup. So if you have that question, the short answer, yes, you can do it. I've got it up and running right now. If you want to just know the ins and outs, I will go through it right now to let you know what I have. So obviously you want yourself a a monitor that does the high resolution, high refresh rate, etc. Make sure your HDMI is 2.0 or higher is probably my suggestion at this point. I don't know. I'm sure there's someone out there that knows if anything lower is going to handle it, but to be safe, I would recommend, HDMI 2.0, 2.1, especially for TVs. Monitors, I haven't really seen too much of that yet. So make sure that's the case. Then the next line is make sure that your capture device supports the output for high refresh rate and also obviously your resolution as well. So at the moment I've got a Elgato 4K 60 Pro Mk.2. That's the inbuilt one, or not inbuilt, but the internal one in the desktop side of things. And that one has, I'll put it on the screen right here, that one does have a pass through that will support what I'm trying to do here. And then the next one is the HDMI switcher, which is thing down there. I don't know if I'm pointing to it right because the camera's in a weird angle. The HDMI switcher that has the enough bandwidth to be able to I guess push out the resolution and obviously the consoles as well. So this is the HDMI switch that I got. It's classified for HDMI 2.0, which is something I was looking at. 4K makes no difference to me here. But the main thing, I don't know if you can see it here, but what you're looking at is somewhere around here. It's video bandwidth. That one is 18 gigabits a second, which, when I was doing a little bit of research trying to gauge what would work, because I wasn't really one that said, high refresh rates, etc. They mostly kind of say 4K 60 frames a second. In my research, it seemed like 1440p, in this case 120 hertz, was around 15 megabits a second. So that's out of focus. So theoretically, I was like, okay, this has to work. So I took a shot and it paid off. So yeah, if you want that answer, this is obviously, I'm in Australia, so I got this from my local J-Car shop. It is a Concord branded one. It has a Alexa control, which I'll never use, but it's there, $149, and it does the job if you need it for that kind of stuff. If you already have an HDMI switcher, so I had one previously. This is from the same guys, but it's a different kind of branded one. Now it is rated to do 4K by 2K, etc., 3 audio, whatever. But it didn't have anything listed about the video bandwidth, which kind of just you know, to me, I was like, okay, well, that probably means it's not capable, because there are a lot of ones out there that will do the lowest version of 4K possible. So, you know, things like HDR, high refresh rates, definitely not going to go through there. So I would highly recommend, if you're looking at getting one, make sure it does have higher than, I would say, probably 16 gigabits a second. That would be my suggestion. Now, I'll show you it on here so you know. Xbox is the easiest one, purely because 1440 is already inside of the settings here. So as you can see, 1440, it's probably on the far end, so you really can't see. 120 hertz. And the good thing about this monitor is Samsung put out an update not too long ago. The version that I'm running is 1009.3, I think it is, and it adds 4K support and improves quality. So when I go into the setup, into the 4K TV details here, it does actually list that it can support 4K 60 hertz, and obviously because it's not 2.1, it doesn't do 4K at 120 hertz. But for me, I bought this monitor purely for 1440p at 120 frames, so it does support that. It does support HDR. I've turned it on and off. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I haven't really noticed a huge difference for me to go, yeah, I'll turn it on. So I've just kind of left it off, etc, etc. So that works like that. Now, PlayStation's a little bit more finicky. Now let me use this remote to switch it over. So PlayStation, well, this thing loads up, does take a little bit of time. PlayStation doesn't natively support 1440p out of the box. They have said maybe if, you know, maybe if there's enough demand for it, they will patch it in there, so it's easy enough for them to pop it in. But for now, you're kind of stuck between 1080 or 4K. And obviously, if you get a monitor like this, which is quite big, you don't want to get a 32-inch that does 1080. It makes no sense. So if you're looking at a 1080p display, go for something smaller, 27 at max, 27 inches max. But if your monitor that you know you're getting does support a downscaling from 4K to like 1440p, or it does accept that 4K resolution, then you're kind of good. But you want to make sure that it does it. So I'll show you what it looks like on this side of things. So here you go. So video output. So we've got it. So this is running with the latest software update for the Samsung G7 itself. It's running at 4K, and it does 60 hertz. So it is quite nice. HDR supported as well through here. The one thing I've kind of noticed is HDR does make this display quite dim, but I haven't gone through. I'm not too fussed into changing the picture settings, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure there's videos out there that will probably show you how to do it. I'm just kind of showing you that it does work in like a, you know, a streaming or recording situation if you need multiple things, etc. I guess the last thing I'll show, so on the actual monitor side of things, I mean, even though it does say on the screen that it does, on the console, it does do the resolution. I don't know if you can see it there. So on that, it says, 3840 by 2160, so 4K, and it's doing the 60 hertz there. And when you look at Xbox's side of things, I'll switch over so you can actually see it once it loads back in. One thing I've noticed is that when you're switching between consoles, it does take a bit of time. So when we're looking at the information here, this one says 2560 by 1440 at 120 hertz. With Xbox, you can turn on the FreeSync and it will work. If you do FreeSync for your PS5, it will go down to 1080. So just keep in mind of that. So you won't be able to use the FreeSync on your PlayStation as of this video anyway. So yeah, that's about it. So high refresh rate monitor, capture card that can do high refresh rate, HDMI switcher that does the enough bandwidth, and then make sure you got yourself the new consoles, and you're good for all that kind of stuff. If you stuck around long enough for this to the end of this video, I appreciate it. There is no reward for you here apart from accomplishing watching. How long is this video? Probably too long. Oh, excuse me. I just had a burger. It was very delicious. Anyway, that's about it. if you have any questions or little things, put it down in the comments. If it's a big enough thing that I can at least show you guys or record, I'm more than happy to do that if I have time. But apart from that, I'll try and answer as many questions as I can in the commentos down below. So yes, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys hopefully not in 3 years' time, maybe 2 years' time this time. Anyway, thank you, and have a lovely Christmas. I don't know why I added that in. That's what I do. Goodbye.